Welcome to ComSpark TV. We are live here in Columbus, Ohio. My name is Bryan Kaiser. I'm the founder and president of Vernovis and part of the executive host committee of ComSpark. And I'm here today with Mark Boyd, CIO of LION, and excited to talk with you a little bit.
Great, thanks for having me.
You bet, you bet. So innovation is a really big part of the business world today. How does your IT team support innovation at LION?
You know, it's an interesting thing because innovation, LION has a couple of core values, one of which is innovation. So being a firefighter service company, there's a lot of things that we do that have to be new and different, but there's a lot of things we have to do that's risk-oriented. And so that combination of the two requires IT to be an integrated part. I said this to somebody a couple of days ago and it really resonated. IT used to be a bar of chocolate that you would throw in a glass of milk and hope you made milk chocolate out of it. IT is not that anymore. And that's the way IT works at LION, is we're a powder. And you mix us into the business and you can't take us out. We are an integrated part of that. So when we have a new product design, IT actually has input into the technology of that. And when they decide they want to do something in sales, they work with IT and we have liaisons for that activity. So all of that innovation becomes part of our ecosystem internally. And then that ecosystem then branches out into our vendor base and into our communities with things like government agencies and metropolitans, and then even customers and dealer networks. So we share data, we share information, and we share that kind of innovative spark that we have.
That's great. Can you share anything specific that IT has created or a product that's helped support the strategy of innovation within LION?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, this kind of milk chocolate approach, right? We have this thing called the prop brain. The prop brain takes all of these training devices and it integrates them in a mesh network environment. Our engineering team was working really hard at getting these mesh networks working, but as part of that, we had an embedded IT service department person who worked with them because he works with mesh networks all day long. And so his advice, his input, all of his knowledge from years and years of doing this led them to be able to get this thing done in about half the time and get it done with some remarkable results. So that piece of technology, when a firefighter sprays the water hose on one of our props, that prop interacts with a prop across the room. And so that became just a massive difference maker in our industry. And we see just tremendous training results out of it.
Oh, that's great. And you know, as you talk about innovation, there's also another side of that, which is talent.
Yeah.
And talent who can support the innovation.
That's right.
So how do you find talent? Do you have any secrets on where to find people, how to find people? Because there is a shortage in IT right now.
Yeah, I'm not telling you any of the secret. No.
Right.
So I guess the big thing for us is we use a combination during the interview process. We have a lot of analytics that we use, and those analytics tell us, based on your history and based on your interview style, how well we think you'll fit the role, but you have to turn the technology off. And this is where a lot of companies kind of miss where we think we've really hit. That one-on-one conversation, the meshing of that person to LION and the meshing of LION to that person, is just a tremendous benefit for us. I'll give you a great example. We just recently hired a VP of Enterprise Project Management. And she was a great candidate, and she had a great resume and a great history, and the results on all of her psychological profile was very strong for the role. But so were 50 other people. And so at some point you have to ask yourself, what's the difference? Well, the difference was, when we brought her into interview, we didn't ask her questions like, tell me about how you manage projects. What we asked her were things like, what's meaningful to you? What gets you up in the morning? What are things that drive you crazy about the corporate culture? What are things that, when you look at your family and your friends, that you say, hey, this is why I'm proud of the company I work with? And that lended itself to a very different conversation. And the conversation led us to understand that she would be a great fit for our culture. And not only that, but maybe the role could be elevated. So in a couple of years, when we look at a new hire, we don't look at today. I'm looking at her to say, when I move or when I retire, can she move into my role? And she can. There's some training opportunities there, but we think she has a great runway for that. And so it becomes easier to hire when you're hiring those kind of entry-level positions. And it's much harder to find that technical talent, but we can train that as long as they have a capability for it. And so that's what we look for.
That's great. And being in the talent industry myself, I see a lot of customers that focus solely on the skill set.
That's
and
right.
They don't put a lot of time into the soft skills, which it sounds like that's a big part of your hiring process.
I would say this, from my perspective, being a CIO in today's world is a little different. And it benefits me, to be totally honest. I'm a business person at heart. I love business. Technology is great, but I see it as a tool. My dad worked with his hands, and so he was a steel worker and a carpenter. And I spent a lot of time with him. And Mike Rowe reminds me of my dad. Just really wise, a lot of things. And my dad said to me one time, a tool's just a tool until you put it into the hands of a craftsman. And he's right. The tools are just tools. .NET is .NET is .NET. I need to put that into the hands of a craftsman, which means I have to find somebody who may not have that skill today, but has the capability for that skill. Are they thoughtful? Are they inclusive of ideas? So do they take ideas from others and incorporate those things? Are they aggressive about their learning? Those kind of things, really, those are the people we look for. I don't care really if the person has ever done software development. We've hired software developers who have never developed in the software packages that we've hired them for. And some have been our greatest successes.
That's great. Yeah. This is very refreshing. I wish we could unpack more. We are out of time. Thank you all for joining us on ComSpark TV. For more, please visit comspark.tech. And we are here with Mark Boyd from LION.